Hi there. Welcome to the menu class. Essentially, we're going to be talking about how this class made my life much easier to display menus, but of course, it's not perfectly a reusable menu system. It does do most of the part of the menus, but there are still hard-coded ones in. But let's get started. Of course, if there's a user's name, you add name here. Option for options, essentially. So if there's options for the menu, so like let's just say there is option for start the game, settings, and exit. That's where you would put here. Prompt is essentially a prompt that is telling you what these options would do for you. And select options is a options, that's which one, or it's essentially an int that tells you which ones you've selected. And up here, this is just a class that I've added, or a list of player classes that has been added just to make the menu more diverse. Essentially, these are the data points for the object to base his menus off of. And of course, we have a bunch of different public constructors that you can use. Of course, you may have one with a name, an option, and a prompt. And sometimes you won't need options, so you'll be going down to here and just having name and prompt. And sometimes you'll need a player class and not a prompt list of player classes. And you put that in here. And display options is essentially a thing that most of the code is going to be using for this whole thing. And a lot of this code is just repeat and overflow or over polymorphism. So it's going to be all using the same base structure out of these essentially. So essentially what this does though, this is essentially going to take a prompt, write it to the console log. The reason there's no .console is because of this up here. So I don't have to write it 50 times, just made it easier. But essentially we're going to print out your prompt and we're going to take whatever you selected from up here, right? Your selected object. And we're going to put it for the option and see, and if it equals your option, because you're looping for a for loop, we're going to set it to myZan. And if not, we're going to reset all the other colors so the other ones aren't set to that. And then we'll print out the normal color. And then we're going to run the menu. And essentially, this will let you move up and down the list of options you have. And you do that via going indexing. Indexing is just making sure you're in range and everything. And rekey is just, until you click a button, it's going to wait for you. And up and down essentially mean we're setting your option. So up here, we're going to set this variable. And if it's minus, you go down, or technically up an option. And if you're adding, you're going down the menu. And an index just keeps you in range. So you can't leave you can't leave your list of options. And the while loop just, if you click enter, then it exits, and that's your option you selected. And essentially, all the code follows the same stuff. Of course, we take a list. We just see if your option is that. If not, we just reset the color. Just all kind of the same stuff, but just using different entry or different parameters for each one. None of them are really different from each other, as you can see. So most of the code is the same here and repeated, but just with slight different parameters. Not much else to this code than anything, but the repeating of methods. Thank you for watching the menu section and hope you understood it. A lot of it's just repeats, so just to re-clarify, these are kind of the core methods and the rest of them follow along with it. This technically one's still the same stuff, but it is for the most part all the same logic base. So understanding this will make you understand the rest of the code. Hope you understood and it wasn't too confusing. Or if I didn't explain well enough, I hope I did. But I'll be moving on to the next script. See you in the next script, not next episode.